Welcome to BTI, that's Bible Training Institute. We open the scriptures every week, line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little and there a little. Study with us and learn how to know God as a close, intimate, and personal friend, and learn what is soon to come upon this world.
Is it possible that Jesus can die for somebody, but it's possible for them to reject the perfection that he's holding out? Yes. So now I want to ask you a question then. Does that mean that there needs to be a second offering by Jesus? No. So that one offering is good enough for everybody in all time. Is that right? Yes. Never again will it need to be offered again. Yes. This is what this is talking about. That there is one sacrifice that needs to be made. But how do we know that in order to bring someone to perfection, that it takes more than one offering? God then must bring us back to perfection. Number two, that's not enough though. What must he do once he brings us back to perfection? He must bring us to a place, and seal it. That is the answer, but I want you to understand what that means. He must bring us to a place where never again will we what? Will we sin? So Adam was in perfection when God made him, but he had to be brought further than that to be brought to a place where never again would he sin. Are you following me? Godly man of God, evangelist. In fact, you have the book, one of the books we're studying right now. That's in conjunction with our studies. Now, he's quoting in his book, Creeping Compromise. We read that together. He's quoting his book from Review and Herald. So it's not Joe Cruz saying this. This is actually Review and Herald. And guess what date? 1945. Now, I went down to the vaults, and I went into, they used to have what is called microfiche. Now, maybe some people don't know what that is, but they had microfiche. I went down the vaults and looked into, it's not a fish, but I jumped as it went into the water. And I fished for the microfiche. And when I got in there, I saw this article. I picked the exact article, took a copy of it, and I had it as evidence. See, look, when you start talking like this, you got to have some evidence. So I got the real paper, but we're just looking at the words. So in October 1945, this is what it believed. Now watch what it says. Now, this is not something that some lowly person, some stray person believed. This is basically what the whole Seventh-day Adventist church believed at that time. I'm going to tell you something. No one who goes to a theater or brings a theater into his house will ever be brought back to perfection. Will ever be brought to a place where we will never sin again. And the devil understands this. And the devil now is creating. Now, this was just the beginning. 1939 was just the beginning of taking the theater and taking that theater and making it a weapon of mass destruction and bringing it to the entire world. Now, can you imagine what it's like now? Cell phones, computers, Netflix, TikTok, YouTube. I mean, can you imagine right now that weapon is being unleashed on the world? Guess what the most famous amusement is today that the entire world does more than any other amusement? Basketball? Football? Guess what the most amusement that most of the world in every nation, in every kindred of every people do today more than anything else? This is why we don't wear certain things, certain music we don't listen to. But there's a gap in someone's mind between this great message and the events of daily life. And so the devil says it's impractical. But he knows that if we really understand the science, we'll get victory over sin. And so he says, let them not understand this and let them just hear. Don't go to the theater. Don't put on jewelry. Don't do this, but not understand the science. Because, God's not interested simply in us taking off jewelry and not eating this and not wearing that. He's interested in a relationship where we know him as a friend. And sin stops the relationship of friendship. It separates us from God. And so the devil says, sure, it's possible to not go to a theater and still not know God. It's possible to change our diet and still not know God. You know that it's possible to change the way we dress and still not know God. But yet it is not possible to know God and not change these things. If I know God, all of these other things in my life will change. And so this is why we must understand this, because when we understand this, it's going to help us to be able to make the bridge to understand why and what and how, because it's not enough to only understand that we must get victory over sin. We need to know how. When you start dealing with how, you move from just a theory into the science. How do we do it? Science.
If you were blessed by this study and would like to be a part of the BTI, that's Bible Training Institute, simply have your Bible pen and paper handy and check out our weekly studies by logging on to molministry.com/BTI. Also, tune in every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the latest. Maranatha.